What is up, lady dudes and gentlewomen of the internet? It is I, the Ninja Nick 333. I am actually re-recording this because I did not know what some of the cards in both of these players' decks did. Apparently GLC's format has developed a little bit since I last played it about 6 months ago. So, yeah, I had to look up those cards. We are going to re-record this. You will see I am in a different attire than I was during all of the rest of this tournament. I did finish recording all of the rest of this tournament, but we have a GLC match going on here, but a caster showdown between Kyle Sablehouse and Jeremy Jallin, two of the actual Pokemon commentators. I guess maybe I should break out a GLC deck and play against them, right? Because I'm commentating here. But anyways, we have a grass deck here from Kyle and a water deck from Jeremy. The water deck, as I know it, is Radiant Kyogre, or no, Amazing Rare Kyogre, but that was apparently banned. This format, for those who don't know what it is, I should take a moment and explain it. GLC is a format that was made by a member of the community, Andrew Mahone. He was bored one day, he didn't like Standard, and decided to just create his own format. The rules are that you can only play one type of Pokemon. So, of course, Kyle is playing all grass-type Pokemon. Jeremy is playing all water-type Pokemon. Hence, gym leader. And you can only play Singleton. So you can play as many basic energies as you'd like. However, every other card in your deck can only be played at one copy maximum. So it makes some very interesting deck building decisions. It is still 60 cards, but this plays a lot like Commander. Also, all rule box cards, period, are banned. That means no V Pokemon, no GX, no EX, Level X, Break, Radiant, Shining, etc. Only single prize Pokemon, and no Ace Specs as well, because those are also rule card Pokemon, or rule card Pokemon cards. They have rule boxes on them. So we do see here this Bulbasaur there has the attack Find a Friend, so that can allow Kyle to search his deck for a basic Pokemon and put it on his bench. I do believe that that is a Detective Pikachu Bulbasaur. I didn't actually look up this Bulbasaur, so I'm trying to read it off the screen, and it looks like it's Find a Friend. It's really blurry, though. Kyle, because he does commentate a lot, does know that it's nice to put that die on top of his hand to show the players at home watching how many cards are in his hand. We will have to explain a lot of these cards for people who have either not played GLC or have never played Expanded. That is the other rule. This is Expanded format, so you can use cards from the Black and White base set expansion up until today's Standard format. With the release of Scarlet and Violet will be there. So right now we are through Crown Zenith, Black and White to Crown Zenith. Jeremy goes for a Hisuian Heavy Ball to search his prize cards for a Pokemon. Uses a Dive Ball as well that searches for a water Pokemon. Plays a Guzma, which is a lot like Boss's Orders, but also forces you to switch Pokemon if you do so. So it does allow him to switch out of the Lapras he started to go into this Alolan Vulpix. Alolan Vulpix has an attack beacon for 0 energy cards, allows you to search your deck for any 2 Pokemon and put them into your hand. There's also a Hisuian Basculin that attacks for free, that is great for setup in the water decks. But it puts basic Pokemon directly to the bench instead. So it's a little less useful than the Vulpix, but because the Vulpix can get evolution Pokemon, so you can get Drizzile for your Sobble in those cases. We see Kyle is going for the Ball Guy. That is a card that is not very good in Standard right now. However, it is very, very good in GLC. It allows you to search your deck for 3 item cards with Ball in their name. We are going to go for the Nest Ball, which will be reprinted in Scarlet and Violet. That allows you to search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it directly to the bench. An item card equivalent of Capture Energy. Looks like we are eyeing up the Turtwig. Turtwig evolves into Grottle. Grottle's ability allows you to search your deck for a grass Pokemon once per turn. So that is likely what he is trying to set up here. GLC takes a lot of setup because you have a lot of evolution Pokemon that are only one-ofs in your deck. and you have to combo some singleton Pokemon lines in order to get big attacks off. So Jeremy's deck, since you see the bench barrier Squirtle there that protects itself, kind of like Manaphy protects the bench barrier Squirtle was great in the Keldeo Blastoise decks of old, protects itself from bench damage. That will be evolving into potentially Wartortle and then into Blastoise with the Deluge ability, which allows you to attach as many basic water energies from your hand per turn as possible. And we see the main attacker in Jeremy's deck is this Wailord. So the Wailord has an attack for 120 does 120 damage for 4 energy, 3 water and 1 colorless. If it has a special energy attached to it, it does an additional 120, so it can do up to 240. So this thing hits very hard, and it also has 200 HP for a stage 1, which is absolutely astronomical. Looks like the turn got passed over to Jeremy, and we are just going for another Beacon with the Alolan Vulpix to grab 2 more Pokemon. You see that there is the Rapid Strike Remoraid. The reason we play specifically the Rapid Strike Remoraid in the Water GLC deck is because you also play Rapid Strike Sobble, and you can use Keep Calling to search that from your deck. We do see the Grottle here now. We are going to use its abilities to search our deck for a Grass Pokemon. Looks like we're going to be going for the Zarude. Now, if I'm looking at this correctly, Zarude's first attack, Pack Call, allows you to search your deck for a Grass Pokemon and put it in your hand. If you go second and it's your first turn, search your deck for 3 Grass Pokemon instead of 1. So it does not seem to be as useful at this point in the game. Looks like we are going to Bird Keeper out of the Bulbasaur. We want to get a Pokemon that's not Bulbasaur into the active because the Venusaur is very useful. Venusaur's ability, the one that we use in this deck, allows you to double the grass energies that are in play. So that 1 grass energy that is on Zarude will turn into 2 grass energy once the Venusaur comes into play. So that is why we are not using that Bulbasaur for Find a Friend or whatever it is anymore. We are switching into the Zarude with the Bird Keeper to use its Pack Call, even though Pack Call works a lot better turn 1. It also has an attack repeated whip, does 60 plus 20 for each grass energy attached to it. So if we double those grass energies with the Venusaur, we are able to hit really big numbers with Zarude. There's also a Shining Genesect that has a similar attack. And we do see that there is the Venusaur in hand here now because we searched that with the Zarude. So Jeremy is benching both Sobble and Remoraid. Sobble will be able to evolve into both Drizzile and then after that into Inteleon to search for trainer cards. Will be very useful in future turns. The Remoraid will also be evolving into a different Octillery than most standard players are familiar with. It will evolve into the Abyssal Hand Octillery, which works exactly like Bibarel. It allows you to draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. So it's very interesting that a lot of these decks operate differently based on the color of Pokemon that you play. So colorless Pokemon get Bibarel, water Pokemon get Octillery, but grass Pokemon don't really have a card like that, but they have a lot of other interesting cards. We do see the evolution into the Blastoise, so now we can deluge as many basic waters into play as we would like during our turn. Looks like Jeremy only has access to 1 right now, so he is going to put that down onto the Wailord. He is 1 energy away from attacking. He would really like to see a special energy card at some point so that he can hit for 240 instead of 120. And it looks like we are just going for yet another Beacon. We'll probably get the Drizzile and the Abyssal Hand Octillery here, since we do have the Sobble and Drizzile down. So on Kyle's next turn here, he still has that Grottle. He has the Venusaur in hand. If he gets access to the Thwackey, he can evolve his Grookey. The Rillaboom can search his deck for 2 energy cards, grass energy cards, and attach them to one of your Pokemon once per turn. So that will get essentially 4 energies into play between the Rillaboom and the Venusaur, doubling those energies. So a really cool interaction, but again, a lot of setup because you have to set up Stage 1 to help you search out all of these, along with 2 Stage 2s. We do see the rare candy allows you to skip the Stage 1, so we do skip Thwackey to go straight into Rillaboom. We are also seeing Netball. Netball, the nice League promo one, or maybe that's a League Cup promo, I'm not sure. Allows you to search your deck for a basic grass Pokemon or basic grass energy. We are going to go for the Shining Genesect, which I do have to look up again, actually. I do vaguely remember what it does, but I don't remember exactly the numbers, so I will look this up for you guys. So its ability allows you to once per turn move a grass energy from one of your other Pokemon to it. So with that Venusaur, that energy will be doubled. Then the Gaia Blaster does 50 plus 20 more for each grass energy on it. So again, attacks very much like the Zarude. So Zarude is doing 60 plus 20 for each grass, technically 40 because the Venusaur is now doubling all of those grass energies, so 4, 8. So we are doing 140 here with Zarude. And it looks like we are able to Boss's Orders up the Wailord, and we're going to try to go for the 2-shot on this thing. This is the most threatening thing on Jeremy's board. It is the only attacker that is set up. He still has both the Blastoise and the Lapras on the bench that can both be used as attackers, and Inteleon is not too bad of an attacker once you get to that stage. But you usually want to protect Blastoise, especially since it's grass weak. Weakness does play a little bit more of a factor in GLC. You have to be very careful of how you build your deck. Water Pokemon are generally weak to grass, but sometimes they're weak to lightning. So you want to have kind of an even split of weakness so that you don't take a hard loss to either grass or lightning. Grass Pokemon are generally only ever weak to fire for the most part. So that is an unfortunate matchup for grass. But grass just has, while it takes a lot of setup, does get very powerful attacks off, as you can see with these doubled energies. So it looks like Jeremy is using Drizzile to search his deck for Boss's Orders as well. He is going to use that to bring up the Venusaur. Knows that this Venusaur is the most threatening thing on the board just because it is the thing that is allowing this Zarude and this Shining Genesect to do the maximum amount of damage. So he does also attach a Capture Energy, which is a special energy. Again, he can only play one Capture Energy in deck because that is not a basic energy. But that allows him to do the additional 120 with Wailord's attack, taking a one-shot here on that Venusaur. So Jeremy has now taken the first prize card. These players started with a 20-minute timer. This match is only happening because the previous streamed game took so little time. They now are trying to fill the dead air a little bit, which I do enjoy that they're trying to fill it with literally anything that's not just, you know, recaps and stuff. We are going to see a Super Rod here from Kyle. Is going to shuffle 3 Pokemon back into his deck, 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy. So what we are doing here is we are using Grottle's ability to instantly get back the Bulbasaur. We shuffled back in the whole Bulbasaur line, so Kyle is attempting to reset up the entire Venusaur. Uses Grottle to get the Bulbasaur back out, uses Rillaboom to put 2 more grass energy on Shining Genesect, so it is now going to be able to do 250 because of how much. Well, actually, no. Once the Venusaur comes into play, it'll be 250. Right now, it's 150. And does take the finishing knockout on the Wailord. Also, previously on the last turn for Jeremy, he did also put the Rough Seas into play. If we remember the Stadium card that is usually played in Duraludon, I don't remember what it's called, but it's the one that allows you to heal 30 off of your Dragon and Metal Pokemon. Rough Seas is very much the same. It's just for Lightning and Water Pokemon instead. Looks like we are going to see the Cynthia here from Jeremy. Allows him to shuffle his hand into his deck and draw 6 cards. We saw earlier in the game, if you saw that big hand that he drew with a shuffle draw, that was the regular Colress. He plays the really nice Crosshatch promo from League. I wish we still had League promos that looked like that. And he was able to draw the same number of cards as Pokemon on both players' benches combined. So did miss that, since I have been trying to talk so much about how this format works, since not a lot of you at home really know about it. So we are seeing the Inteleon come down now. We can Shady Dealings for 2 trainer cards. So it looks like he might be eyeing up that Capacious Bucket. We all know what that card does. Searches our deck for 2 basic water energies. Now this Lapras also has an attack that is very similar to some of these guys here. Hydro Pump for 1 colorless energy does 10 plus 30 more for each water energy attached to it. So right now we are doing 70. If we get enough water energies onto Lapras, we can actually take a knockout. Shining Genesect does have 130 HP, so we're a little bit far off still now. We also see the Staryu has come down here from Jeremy. Starmie is a really great Pokemon in this deck because it allows you to discard a card and put 2 basic energies from your discard into your hand. So we will likely see the Starmie come down next turn. We're also seeing Rescue Stretcher, very similar to the Super Rod. It allows you to take a Pokemon from your discard and put it into your hand, or you can shuffle 3. We do see a Float Stone come down onto the Lapras, giving it free retreat, a lot like the Air Balloon that we have these days, except it's completely free instead of just reducing it by 2. Lapras does have a 3 retreat cost, so it looks like we use Abyssal Hand to draw a card, and now we're going to Beacon with the Vulpix. We do not have the energy to attack right now, so we might as well just attack with Vulpix to try to get the Wailord back into hand, along with the Wailmer and Wailord. So once this Alolan Vulpix goes down, we can start stacking up this Wailord a second time. And you can see just how the Pokemon and energy recovery are a little bit important. Oh, I should look up the Roselia as well. So we see Kyle immediately goes for the N. It's a card that a lot of people love. I personally have never liked it. I think it's an unbalanced card because the prize-taking mechanic of the just how the game works is very broken. A lot of other card games will have the cards be your life, and as you're losing, you're gaining card advantage. So essentially the opposite person in Pokemon is taking the prize card. So as you're winning, you're gaining more cards. And it disallows your opponent from being able to gain advantage from losing in order to have a comeback. So I am all for changing the rules on prize cards to having the opposite person take them. I think that that is the ideal way to fix a lot of the issues in Pokemon. And then you wouldn't have the need for cards like N. Let me look up this Roselia while we're here. And we do just take the knockout with the Shining Genesect here. I believe it's... Is it this Roselia? It just puts your opponent to sleep. So the Roselia can evolve into a Roserade that I believe is at minimum $40 right now because it is a black and white era card. And it will allow you to search your deck for any 1 card every turn. So it's a really great card in GLC. If you're playing grass, it's kind of a necessary card. We do see the Starmie allows for the recycling of the 2 water energies in the discard pile. We are going to see Ball Guy come out now. We're going to search Level Nest and another Ball card, it looks like. And we are going to immediately use that Nest Ball to put that Wailmer back down onto the bench. It was end out of Jeremy's hand. So Kyle played that end so that he would not have access to the Wailmer, but he still gets it off of this Nest Ball, showing just how great of a draw supporter that is. The Grottle can also evolve into a Torterra that for a grass and a colorless does 50 damage times the amount of evolution Pokemon that you have in play. So right now would be doing 150. If you evolved Roselia, would be 200. So that would be able to one-shot a Wailord, even though it does not have the grass weakness. We do see that the Venusaur is now reset up so that Zarude has 4 energies attached to it technically now. And we are going to Guzma up the Blastoise, I forgot what it was called for a second, and knock it out with weakness. It's likely doing more than enough. We do see this Lapras is getting really charged up here, and we are trying to rebuild this Wailord. We even get that pot helmet on it. Oh my god, what does pot helmet do? We also see Kyle plays down Tropical Beach. It actually just showed me a bunch of actual helmets when I searched that. That's funny. The Tropical Beach is a promo card that was only given out to players that played in the World Championships in both 2011 and 2012. This is the 2011 print. It is one of the most expensive cards in the game that is playable in any format. GLC rules usually allow you to play the World Deck promo ones, which generally go for $40 online for a card that is otherwise illegal in the expanded format. So very crazy. Just because it is so hard to find these cards, and they are old, they've been played by a lot of players, so they have a lot of damage. I do have a playset myself. They are going for roughly $250 a piece as of right now, usually for the lowest rarity versions. There are also stamped ones for top 32 and top 8, top 4 finalist, winner, like champion for Worlds. And they also have staff ones as well. I believe I have 2 staff ones and 2 regular, I believe, maybe. We are seeing the Ordinary Rod is allowing us to shuffle some Pokemon and energies back into the deck, and we are taking the knockout here with Rillaboom. Since we have 4 energy on us, we have the ability to do that. We also saw a Raihan was how we were able to get going with an attack this turn as well. So we do see Wailord is going to be coming out this turn. We are searching for that with some sort of ball search card that we have here. We are going to bench a Wishy-Washy and use Professor's Research. I would be playing Juniper personally if it was expanded. Juniper is my favorite supporter card of all time. Professor's Research, Juniper is not quite as nice. We do see the Splash Energy, so we are going to be able to do the full 240 damage with the Wailord, but also the Splash Energy allows your Pokemon to go back to your hand when it's knocked out. So both the Wilmer and Wailord will return to Jeremy's hand if Wailord is knocked out, so he can set it up a 3rd time. So now that Rillaboom is knocked out, Kyle is really hurting for an attacker. Jeremy has been able to recycle better attackers better than Kyle has, especially since that Lapras, he did start with it and was able to just be a basic Pokemon that hit pretty hard. The Zarude did not do quite as much work as some of these other evolution Pokemon for Kyle, so he is really getting punished for having to attack with more evolutions than Jeremy. Jeremy is able to attack with a basic and a stage 1, whereas Kyle is attacking now with stage 2s. Looks like we are going to try to scoop up net. We are going to put this Pokemon to sleep with Roselia. We flip heads for the sleep flip. We attach and retreat and take a knockout here with the Wailord, leaving Kyle with only 1 Pokemon left in play. Jeremy goes down to 1 prize card remaining. And even though time had effectively been called there because they were only given 20 minutes to play this game, Jeremy is given the win. Because obviously this is just a fun game, it's not supposed to be too serious. They probably decided to go by prize cards, even though it technically would have been a tie. But that is a lot how GLC is played. A lot of local tournaments are doing GLC format tournaments now. A lot of local leagues. I do like it. I think it's a really fun format, but I do not like the fact that you have to spend like $40 for an uncommon or a regular rare Roselia that was printed 15 years ago or something stupid like that, like just or 10 years ago. Just let us be able to play whatever formats we want to. So I think that GLC is more of a fun format that you should just be allowed to play proxies in if you really want to play it. I don't think it should be taken too seriously. I don't think that Pokemon will ever officially support it, even though they did put it in rule books now. As a alternate way to play. But Andrew Mahone is basically the owner, creator, and curator of this format, and he makes decisions on what cards should be banned instead of letting the community decide. So things like the amazing rare Kyogre that are completely unbroken get banned. and that is why I stopped playing GLC. So, thanks guys for watching, and we will return to our regularly scheduled rounds of the Pokemon trading card game in the next episode. We will see you guys then for, I believe it's round 15 after this? I don't remember. Again, I'm recording this like the next day. We will see you guys then. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Feed that YouTube algorithm. We only have about 15% of you subscribed right now. Let's get that number up. We will see you guys later. Bye.